Hello everyone, and welcome to the second week of September, back to school. I don't know about you guys, but my oldest just started school last week and it sort of threw me for a loop. She was home more, she'd had half days, so I was a little bit more distracted this week and just trading my longer term swings. But I really wanted to go ahead and show you guys. I have people ask me all the time, they're like, Jane, what do you use? And for me, this is part of Trade Ideas right here. So this is something that I use every day pre-market. I look at the up gappers. I also have the down gappers. And then this is a really cool alert window that I created and actually shared in their free trading room. So if you guys haven't checked it out, definitely check it out. So I always look at this to see, okay, what are the up gappers for the day? Why? Because more than likely, if it's gapped up, it's got some sort of catalyst to have made that happen. I also want to look at the volume for the day, and I love it. You can go ahead and you can sort it. This I did from Friday. So this is going to be Friday's information, right? So you can see, okay, so the one that had the most volume was Telnav, and then I also like to see where does it lie in the position range for the stock. Oh my goodness, look, Lulu broke out for the day. You also have the ability to click on this and then see it on the chart when you have all the windows up, but I didn't want to overwhelm the screen. And then these are the gap up movers. And if you guys have trade ideas, just reach out to me and I'll be happy to share these. That's one of the really cool things is once you create an alert window, you have that link for trade ideas and it goes into your cloud, and then you can share that with anyone else that has it. So I shared this with Barry in the trading room. And it's just a gap up movers that are constantly setting new highs, right? So they've gapped up and they're breaking out to new highs that day, or they've gapped down as well. So there's some like Invita that gapped down overall, but it was making new highs for the day in the trading day itself. Also, and it doesn't repeat here, which is what I like. So it will set that new high and then I'll go ahead and show you. And I did it later in the day, so you don't get the entire day's worth, just for example purposes today. But those are really that's really the main tool I use early in the morning. And then secondarily, I look over at TrendSpider, which has these really cool, let me bring it to the spot here, really cool raindrop candles. So I'm a big follower of volume. Volume and a catalyst really are going to be two of the major things that you want to have when you're day trading a stock, right? And these cool raindrop candlesticks will show you a bit more about where the volume played and the VWAP for morning and afternoon trading sessions. This is a daily chart. Now, if I had it in a 5-minute chart, it would be the 5-minute, the first half of that 5 minutes and the second half of that 5 minutes. And if you guys want to learn any more, there's a link down below. There will be a free webinar coming up this Wednesday, the 11th at 11 with Jake. He and I are going to be talking all about TrendSpider and all the cool attributes. They're always updating it. And one thing for me that I like is the multiple time frame analysis on here, right? So this hashed line right here is a weekly trend line, and these are going to be our daily trend lines because we're on daily and weekly. And I also have my moving averages here. If you guys follow Alpha Trends, Brian Shannon et al., he does have this very cool proprietary anchored VWAP, which is cool because they integrated that into TrendSpider. So you have the ability to put that on any of the candlesticks. I believe it's just on the raindrop charts. So I have the bottom one here, and then I have the higher one here. So right now it's looking bullish, and we did close above that weekly trend line right there. However, and we're on the daily trend line as well. We held the daily trend and the weekly trend. So we shall see. This looks like it could catapult on up and test this upper daily trend line first. And then potentially we do have a nice little wedge going on right here. And we'll go ahead and we'll look at NASDAQ as well, the Qs. Same scenario, we have this weekly trend line here, which we did close above. And we have this daily trend line, which we could go up and test as well. So we'll keep that one on watch. Obviously the indexes, and here we have the Russell. Now we do have this sort of indecisive day right here, which many times will show a reversal. Like every time you see it, oh look at that, it reversed down there. This one is different in that it didn't reverse from there. You have one back here, it did reverse down from there. So sometimes those blue or purple raindrop candlesticks can indicate that a reversal move is coming. It's interesting right here. This is our 200 simple moving average right here. So it tested the 200 simple daily moving average and it pulled back. But we held this weekly trend line right here, this dashed weekly trend line. But that's not everything, guys. Those are 2 tools. The last is now the addition of the dark pools. What is the dark pools? You got to check it out. I do work with Stephanie Kammerman, who is the owner of thestockwhisperer.com, and she educated me on the dark pools. And I work with her in the training pit to help people learn all about how to trade, first off, but also how to trade the dark pools. So if you guys are curious about that, you can definitely check that out. And if you already know a bit about trading, but you want to learn more about trading around the dark pool and you want to get honed in, like to really trade super well, definitely check out the boot camp, and you can email me and I can help you get a special gift for signing up. Just jane@thedarkpools.com. For example, I got into Ego back here after hearing all about the dark pool prints, and then just closed it out up here around 9:20. So you can see that really following the dark pools can help you profit. What's that? It's $5.20 area to $9.20, $4. So about 80% move on that trade, just in the swinging time frame, right? So it's all about following the dark pool with the prints. Amazing tools to help you see what is moving with those dark pools behind them. And then of course, TrendSpider to see potential exit targets as well. So that's really my 3 go-to things for amazing trading. So let's go ahead and get into the watch list for the week. As always, guys, you know that I used to have my Series 7. It is no longer current. So, please trade with your own due diligence and research, as there is risk with trading any financial securities instrument. All right, so first on the potential long list is JPY Holdings. So I would look for a support at 211 and resistance at 219. And when we go and we look at it on a yearly chart, let's put it auto here. You can see this one might be a longer term trend, right? We've got it breaking the 50 right here. This is 120 simple moving average. 200 is up here at 364. And it does have 33 million in the float. It was only 12% short float volume. So this one is a good one to keep on watch for potential bigger move, right? You can see we might have a test up here, 237, where it's been testing there, and then 250. Next test right here, the high 267 on up to the 3 area, 287 right after that. So definitely keep this one on watch. I also forgot to mention, in November 23rd in Dallas, we are having a free Trading Around the Dark Pools event. So if you guys want to sign up, the information is down below. It's going to be at the Solana Marriott. And definitely come. It's free, right? We're going to be there in the morning. Come and learn all about the dark pools. And if you want to learn to join anything else as far as the training pit or the boot camp, which is setting up October 31st, I believe. Hold on. Double check this. October 28th, excuse me. I had my dates wrong. October 31st is my husband's favorite day, Halloween. So next potential long on the list is Lulu. You guys saw it there. I had my gappers up. It was on my watch list on Friday. So I have potential support of 202.07 and first resistance point of 203.52, then potential first target and next resistance point for further breakout of 204.44, which when you look at it on the details right here is going to be the 52-week high and all-time high for the stock, right? So keep that one on watch. You can see it's been doing very well ever since they had that issue with the fabric that was see-through that brought it down, and then it's rebounded ever since. Who doesn't love a nice, comfortable pair of yoga pants, right? So next on the potential long list, and also Lulu has 115 million in the float, and it was 46% short float volume on Friday. Nautilus. Nautilus is also another potential long-term investment, potentially. As always, this is always just my opinion, guys, but I will show you why I have this opinion. So 138 for potential day trading here, but I also have this on my potential longer term swing. 1.38 for support and 1.57 for resistance. When we look back on the year, this has sort of had this downward trend, right? We've had gaps down on earnings, or that wasn't earnings, but it was just a major sell-off day. Then we have a gap down on earning, gap down on earning, and we have the earnings here. And it looks like it's found support down here. We had this major volume come into it, and we've broken above the averages. It looks like it came up, tested, almost tested the 50 simple moving average. So if we can go ahead and break above that, it looks like we're going to be testing this little gap fill area here, and then on up to test up here around 231, and then continue. If we can break that, we'll potentially continue on up. So that's why it's always on the potential list. And it looks like they would have potentially earnings coming up. Let's see, when did they have their last earnings? No, August 1st. So we've got a ways until November probably for the next earnings report. So keep it on watch. It does have 28 million in the float, and it was 61% short float volume on Friday. Short float volume and IPOs and volumes, something I touch on in depth too in the trading pit. All right, next potential long is SCWX. So SCWX, you can see it here on the daily. I have 1453 as support, which was also the top of resistance back here. So it looks like it might have flipped to be support. And we also have resistance right here, just about $15, $14.97. And we have $14.98 that is the, I believe that's the 120 simple moving average. Let's just look here. Yep, 120 simple moving average right there, acting as resistance. So let's look at it on a 15-minute chart. So it ran up all day. It ran up 2 days in a row since earnings. So potentially looking for this third day continuation before we see a further sell-off. If it can break that 15 mark and hold above it, it would likely have a nice move to continue on up, potentially on up to the 16 area, I would say, and then maybe 1637 and 200 simple moving average. Next potential long, CPRT. And SCWX has 7.8 million in the float, so if it got that volume behind it, it could really run up, and it has 61% short float volume from Friday. Also, here we go with CPRT. This is a breakout for the year, right? We can see it touched there on Friday. So looking for that potential breakout above resistance of 81.48, and then to test the 52-week high. If you look at it, this could also be a potential head and shoulders setting up, right? So shoulder here, head here, and if it doesn't break here, that could be the shoulder for it to continue down. So definitely keep this one on watch. 80.83 for support and 81.5 area for resistance. It has 199 million in the float and 58% short float volume on Friday. When we pull it back on the yearly chart, you can see it really has, look at that, a cup and handle. So will it continue up? We had that selling end of day on Friday. It just had earnings. Will we have that third day of continued move to the upside and new highs, or is it going to create that shoulder pattern and pull back because we did have the selling wick right here? We shall see. Next on the potential short list is SRPT, Sarepta. Now you can see Sarepta has had 52-week low breakout. It tested it. It was green on Thursday, red on Friday, set a new low. So looking for support to be broken of 85.34, a resistance of 86.67. And when we go at the yearly, you can see it really was at the 52-week low. Here we are on the 5-year. So it looks like we could potentially find support around 81.31 if it continues downwards. If it breaks that, potentially the next level down of 74. So just keep it on watch. Sarepta does have 70.4 million in the float. Next potential short is DOMO. DOMO had a red day on Friday, had red earnings, came down pre-market, bounced up a little bit, and then it sold off again. Looking for support to be broken of 15.19 and then resistance of 16.18. Now this one does have lower float. It's 18.7 million. So it might be hard to find shares to short. However, it likely does have options because it is over 7 million. You have to have more than 7 million in the float to be able to have an optionable stock. It does have this big gap to the bottom, so if it does break out above, it could fill that gap too. So as always, these are just potential shorts or potential longs. It depends on which way the market takes it. However, it did have a red day on earnings, closed near the bottom, so it might continue on down for the second and third day. we will keep it on watch. As you can see, the low of the year was down here at 13.39. So we might see that happen, 13.28 to be exact. We might have a nice $3 move to the downside before we see a bounce and rebound up, or it could test it and break further down. Next potential short, again, CrowdStrike had earnings, red day, right? It gapped down below all the averages here, and it closed fairly weak on the day. I would look for support of 75.55 to be broken to the downside, and 77.16 when we look at it on the daily, right? So it came down, bounced, right? Which many times will happen going into lunch, and then a further sell-off. So if anyone also studies Elliott, so it was 1, 2, big 3, right? And we'll see if it continues for another sell-off day. I already gave you the levels, and 18.3 million in the float. So same scenario with DOMO. It might be easier to trade options on it because it might be hard to find shares to short. Next potential short is Zoom, with support of 84.87 down here and resistance of 86.56. When we look at it on the daily chart, you can see, oh, look, we've tested this level before back here in the end of June and July, and then it bounced up off of it. So this is a second test. We had earnings, red day, closed week. Is it going to continue on down? We had a big volume candle there. So looking for another continuation of this one to sell off. It does have 26.2 million in the float. And the final one on the potential short list of Cure. This is a Netherlands stock, I believe. Oh, and look, it just announced a public offering. It's weird my lines didn't show up. I do have support at 43.7 and resistance at 45.61. So let's see, 43.67 I said. Well, 43.75, we'll put it there. And resistance of 45.61. I'll put it up here. Oh, up here. Because I want to have it up here, actually. I want to have it at the pre-market level from Friday. All right, so you can see it right there. So it does have some space to move. It does have 27.78 million in the float. We pull it back on the year. This is daily chart. We're not at the bottom. Oop, I don't mean to add an alert. I want to remove this one. There we go. So you can see big selling volume, and we have this gap to fill to the downside. So if we do break down, looking for 41.50 is the next target to the downside, which you can see also acted as resistance back here. Acted as resistance, then once it broke above, it never touched it until potentially this upcoming week. Potential long on the list, long swing. So I like JP potentially long term, and I like NLS potentially long term. Alta would be another one. Look, we've got a nice double bottom here. Here we had a nice doji candle right here, and now we've got it coming down. We've tested that 52-week low, right? And then it bounced up. So we shall see. Is it going to be I'd say potentially a long-term entry above 238 once we start curling up, and then potential risk up 228 down here. Let's look at Shopify too. Shopify has been one, it's just now starting to pull back. So looking to see if it's going to hold the support here of 381.50, the 21 EMA. It might pull back to the 50 as a potential entry point as well for a longer term swing. But you can see Shopify has just been a beast, right? It's just been tearing up, pulls back every time that it tests that 21 EMA. Many times it has gone ahead and continued up. So we've got this consolidation period going on right here. It's down to the 15 EMA. It might come down to the 21 as well. Like I said, 352.44 is the level I'm looking at. It's right now at 380.42. So we'll just keep it on watch and see where it goes from here. As always, guys, if you like my content, please like and subscribe. Don't forget, free webinar this Wednesday with TrendSpider if you want to learn more about their software, and they've got an extra special deal going on with 14-day trial and 30% off ending today. So check it out. All right, have a great week ahead. Carpe profit, guys.